If there was ever a baritone saxophone to get with a storied history and just one of the most reliable tool sets that you will ever need, it's this one. Check it out. Howdy everybody, my name is Andrew King. We are here at Alamo Music. Don't forget to visit us at alamomusic.com where we have this instrument and so many more available for purchase. Today we are going to be talking about the ever so lovely, the BS6200 ProOne Baritone Saxophone from Antigua Winds. This is such a cool horn, not only conceptually, but also just playability wise, and I'm going to tell you why in a second. There's a lot of really cool different parts to it, and I want to kind of section these off. The bottom keys have really cool designs to them. The neck itself is very storied, and then the horn itself is just such a cool horn, and the case and all of that. So it really just comes down to, this is an instrument that I think if you're going to go like on tour, if you're going to take this out for gigs, this is the one. The playability, the way it sets itself apart from others, there's a lot of really cool things going on with it. Now, a quick disclaimer, Alamo Music and Antigua Winds are partners as far as distribution goes, so we do distribute for these instruments for most companies in the United States. So that is something to talk about, and I don't want that to discount the value of this instrument at all. I really do think that this kind of instrument plays really well as far as a gigging instrument. I think that if you were to go to school and have one that is reliable, set, and you don't need to get another one or reinvest at all, this is an extremely good, reliable, professional saxophone. The ProOne in general we have covered on this channel before. We covered the alto saxophone version, and that one has a lot of the same features. The trident arms, which has basically little levered parts on both sides that you can use a screwdriver on, that means that you can readjust keys in the moment, or if you can't make it to a repair tech in time. This also has the G-sharp lever, meaning that if you press the G-sharp key, it actually lifts the key instead of using a spring to push it up. This is really cool for the fact that the G-sharp is just a really infamous key for the saxophone. You'd never have to bring a dollar to a gig again, and it's a really cool feature that I think more saxophones could use. And that's why I'm a really big fan of these Antigua Winds instruments, because they have really creative solutions without taking away from the overall design of the instrument or the sound of the instrument. These parts are fantastic, and I really recommend them to anyone that wants an instrument that's going to be reliable for the long term, not just like a really good sounding instrument right out the box. The last feature that I want to talk about is going to be one of my favorite parts, is going to be the P1 neck. This is the Peter Ponzel neck. It was designed by the guy who was very famous for the fact that he made Kyleworth a lot of what it is today as far as design philosophies, saxophones, necks, even some mouthpieces, and he brings his brilliance basically to these instruments. The neck is such an important part of the saxophone. The saxophone itself usually is not going to be very important sound-wise. A lot of the sound from a saxophone is going to come from the player. It's very important to realize that, but it is also super important to know that you need a saxophone that's going to be reliable, that you have tools that are going to be good for coming back into the moment if something were to happen to the instrument that's unfortunate. And that's why this saxophone is so good. So one, with the neck being very valuable, that has a great free-blowing nature. It goes straight through the instrument. Then you have what are basically amazing repair setups to where you don't have to really worry about things going wrong in the moment at the gig. You can set up and make sure that everything's working. If you need to do it in moment, you can fix it. And also, it has rolled tone holes. I have made the mistake of saying that this is something that other instruments do, and some do, but with this one, it's very important on the baritone saxophone, because with these rolled tone holes, it really feels like when you press down, especially on those lower end keys, a lot of the saxophone just plays great. It's like the notes themselves just activate. I don't really have to worry about pressing too hard or too fast or anything. This instrument just, it feels like, and that's something that I think low instruments, especially something that with this kind of voicing needs in cases of like jazz bands playing with an orchestra or playing with a wind ensemble. This instrument, no matter which scenario you're in, this is an instrument that can act as all of them, and it has parts that make it so you can play at any time. I very much recommend it for that fact. So stick around for a little bit. Let's go ahead and listen to it, and I will see you in a second. All right, well, get in the comments, tell me what you think. I think, dude, it's such a cool horn. I really enjoy just how it just plays. You just blow into it. It does what you ask. The core intonation is fantastic, especially across the board, especially on the high end. I really like it up there. The instrument's low end sounds great, especially you need to put the proper air supply for sure. So just make sure that you're doing a proper airflow and the instrument's just gonna sing for you. It's just so good. I was using a JDX7 jazz mouthpiece from Rousseau and a 3 orange box Rico reed. Just standard stuff, but not the JDX7 though. That's kind of a special mouthpiece. But fantastic sound coming out of it. I think it sounds great also on a classical setup. It's really good for that. I also want to add that the extra amenities, it has a great case coming with it. It's a wheeled case. It comes with backpack straps. So as a person that plays a lot in a downtown metropolitan area, I really, really am thankful for backpack straps whenever I can get them. So that is definitely something, especially with these heavier instruments. You don't want me just legging it around or going over sidewalks or bumps and stuff like that over and over again, or potholes, God forbid. So this is something that really does keep the instrument safe. I do recommend it. It's also contoured, so it's not as heavy as some of like the ABS Cassias and all that kind of stuff. Other than that, it's just a really cool horn. I do recommend it to anyone. The ergonomics are great. The playability is great. I think that this is, especially for the price point, I think that there is not really much better saxophones. It really plays in line with some of those really nice Yamahas or nice Selmers. I think that this instrument plays very well, and it's long lasting. And I think that that's really, really important. So that's why I give it a total recommendation. Please check it out. Don't forget to leave a like. It does help us in the long run, and subscribe if you can, so if you want to see any more content coming out of the channel. And thank you so much, and I will see you in the next one. Thanks.